Hi, it's Luke from Proactive, the simple, user-friendly risk and safety management solution for sport, leisure, and education. And this is our how-to video on submitting a concussion incident. This is the big one. This is where we're really strong as an app, and this is where our links with the RFU, particularly in rugby and other sports, have come to the front. It's allowing the best practice for helping parents and support staff of individuals who have had a concussion incident get back to playing safely. And in order to do that, you have to firstly correctly submit the report and the incident, and then I will demonstrate how that leads into the information that is passed on to the parents or carers to make sure that it's managed correctly, and that's limiting potential further risk of it happening and injuries further down the line. So we have looked at, and if you've watched this video before, then there is a video on submitting a report. And if you haven't watched that, I would watch that one first and go back and have a look on how to submit a report, specifically an incident. This one here at the top of your dashboard, because you have to create an incident first, which is in this case an injury, before you can then link the concussion follow-up. So just as a quick overview and a quick recap, we go into the submit report button, which is either on the top of your dashboard or on the menu in the device-based version. Then what you will go and do is you will create an incident. We've seen this before, hopefully, but if not, it's just saying you create and link it to a group. We've got the date already preloaded. We've got the type of incident, time of incident. It was earlier today. We've got the venue, we've got the pitch, and we've got the activity. And then in here, on this drop down, we're going to create an injury or an incident in this case and click next. So like I said, there's a video on how to do all of this, but we're just jumping through it now to get to the key part, which is where an incident specifically has occurred, which we think is a concussion. So of course it will be related to the head. So when you're selecting the area of the body which is your head, this is different to the other areas of the body because it will ask you to stop and check for concussion. So hopefully somebody, a first aider or the coach who's done a first aid course, will know the signs of concussion, and they'll be able to jump in at this point and assess the player, the athlete, for any of these things, which we can go through the list, which is also a really helpful tool within Proactive. So again, it just reminds you to look at the things that are related to a potential concussion. Are they unsteady on their feet? Are they showing a lack of coordination? Were there any following symptoms? So again, it might be that these occur after the event, so it's worth checking in with the player and then finding out if any of these other things have occurred, which are signs of concussion. So in this instance, we believe that there has been a concussion event, and we want that, first of all, that person to be removed and rested from the game. So they're taken out of the game, so there's no more chance of any further injury. That's the most important thing we must do. And as we said here, we suspect that it is a suspected concussion. This then tells us, as I said, what to do, which is remove them immediately from play, get them medically assessed by a healthcare professional, and then fully follow the graduated return to activity and sport, which is the standard to which rugby adheres to get people back safely into the sport. Here we can put a symptom that we think they've had and any others they might have had. So we're triggering it as being a specific concussion. This then is just similar to the other forms for an incident, and I will just fill these in quickly. Like I said, there was a separate video on this. Was first aid given? Yes. Moved from play. Witnesses, yes. Luckily, the parents were there, so they saw what happened. And then what additional medical advice? Medical to assess further. Actions taken to prevent further incidents, where we're going to start the concussion tracker, which is a bit we're coming to. Here we have informed the parent when was the parent informed? At the time of the event, because they were there. And all this I said is the same for any incident. So we've got the incident report, but during that process we flagged it as a concussion. So there will be a follow-up, which is concussion tracker. And then we're going to submit that incident. The reason that is important is because now at this stage, okay, we can go and report it as a concussion and track it as such. So we've created an incident as we normally would, but we've identified that it is an incident which we believe to be a concussion. We've removed the player, but then we need to go in and inform the carers and the parents around that player to make sure that they are processing through the graduated return to activity and sport in the right way. So it was the event here that we isolated. So in this, having just submitted a concussion tracker, we have put in the event. We can repeat or click on. We put dazed and dizzy. We put in here. We also put neck pain. So that means you've got a marker for what you're helping the carers look for down the line. We've got the individual. We've got their email. And then we've got a mobile, which in this case is made up. But that email is actually mine. And what will happen is when you hit start concussion tracker, so just check, this is worth pointing out, please double check this information is correct. You've got the right parent's name, you've got the right parent's email or the carer's email, and you've got the right mobile number. When you're happy, you hit start concussion tracker. That will automatically start the process. What is that process? Well, if you come back to the dashboard, you will see at the bottom, we looked at this in a previous video, a list of concussion tracking that's going on. And it starts with the basic information and what stage they're at, which is basically stage 1, obviously, because we've just created this, and the time since concussion. What we're aiming then is for them to follow the return to play protocol. And if you click within that report, again, like we see, you can see the stage they're at. You can see what they should be doing. They should be initially resting. And most importantly, you've got this link. Now, that is the link that the individual that you put their details in will have received. So if that's the parent, for instance, they would have got this email link and texted this link. And this is where the information and the follow-up comes as to how to get their athlete back safely through all the stages of return to play. In an instance where that's being managed by the club, say it's a first-team athlete, they're older, and the first team physio is managing it. 1, you could email and text them that information, but 2, you can as a club admin process them to the end of this series of stages, but it is best to have sent that link to someone. Again, you could copy it here, and that way, as you can see, it will tell them exactly where they are within the process. It will send them to the head case toolkit, which is really important. So that is another resource for information on how to manage someone back into rugby or sports safely, having had a concussion, and the time frames for which that occurs. And when what will happen is, through that link, the person managing the concussion, like I said, will be able to guide the athlete through the correct stages. But then as a club, or if you've shared that link with a school, they will be able to see what stage it's at. So I mentioned this in the video looking at the dashboard. It allows you to give you a picture of the club as a whole of where those instances have led to concussions. You can start to talk about that and whether there's specific things that are causing those, whether it be within an age group or just generally, so you can improve best practice in coaching to try and avoid those. But most importantly, you know which athletes are at which stage and therefore either should not be playing because they've still got red crosses or are safe to return to play. It's also got a useful tool here, which is the number of days it's taken for them to return through these stages in order to be fit to play. That gives you an idea of how you're managing concussion instances post the incident. It's a bit of a longer video, and apologies for that. There's lots more resources on how to get someone to return to play on the head case guide. You can reach out to your rugby safe lead at the club. They should know about this. But ultimately, the proactive tool has allowed you to identify concussion, report it correctly, send that information to the people that are involved in caring for the athlete to make sure that fundamentally they are following the right return to play, because it is in this area that we really believe the app can help clubs and individuals more safely return to play, reduce the effect of any long-term instances or it recurring, and that's all based on the RFU guidelines, which we've spent a lot of time making sure they are aligned. So hopefully this won't be happening too often, but when it does happen, you'll be prepared to report it and track it and get people back to playing safely. Hope that's been helpful. As ever, if you've got any questions, contact us hello@proactivereporting.com and take care.